Well, Greece's problem is that it owes much more than it earns. Debt is currently at 144% of GDP, but some analysts say that's likely to soar to 200% by 2014. And the latest deal is supposed to cut debt from 144% to 124% by 2020. But Greece's economy isn't growing fast enough. In fact, it shrank by 25% in the last 5 years. Joining us now from Athens is Vegelis Agapitos. He's an independent economist. Thanks for joining us here on Al Jazeera. First, what do you think this latest tranche of money is actually going to accomplish? It's not the final solution, is it?
No, it isn't, and we are still halfway through very painful reforms that have been voted but need to be implemented. Reforms that will help transform Greece from a domestically driven economy based on a very large public sector to an internationally competitive economy based on exports, which is part of the globalization that is taking place around the world.
How does it do that, transform its economy from a domestic-focused one to an internationally demand-driven one?
First of all, you have to reform labor laws. You have to make labor more in line with international practices and less protective. You have to have a stable tax system. You have to privatize good industries and areas where you have competitive advantages and open the country to international investors. You've got to cut red tape in the public sector bureaucracy. The list can go on and on. Greece does have competitive advantages, but it needs money in order to actually help push these actions that are necessary in order to help transition the country into a global country. Foreign direct investment will not come until they are absolutely sure that Greece has actually passed all these problems. And so far, all Greece is doing is receiving money, but money will give it time to make sure it makes a soft landing on its economy in order to take off again.
Do the numbers add up? Can it cut its debt to 124% of GDP by 2020? This even as the economy shrinks.
Well, in many ways, yesterday's news were all of the above except a real haircut on the debt. Let's not forget that the European Union and the currency is based on a GDP prudency of 60% debt as part of GDP. So I would be looking for a haircut following the implementation of all the necessary reforms, which will be painful to the general public, but ultimately will have a long-term benefit for the economy and the average Greek.
Do you think Greece is going to continue to get support from its European neighbours? And how much is riding on the German elections to be held next year?
That's exactly what I was saying before. I think this decision has been deferred in the future, not only for political reasons, but also the best way to paraphrase it is like buying your child a good present, and the haircut being a present when it's done well at school or when it obtains its degree. So I think that our European partners will want to give any final haircut once all reforms have been implemented and once the economy has indeed transitioned and broken the vicious circle of recession into a growth circle. Let's not forget, you cannot service your debt if you keep reducing the economy. You can only manage your debt once the economy is healthily growing.
Vegelis Agapitos, thank you very much for speaking to us.